So let me start with a confession. I am completely addicted to my phone. I'll admit it, I have fallen into the trap. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, they all know exactly what to do to keep me hooked. One minute I'm checking a notification, and suddenly 2 hours are gone, my thumb hurts from scrolling, and my brain feels like it just had an all-you-can-eat buffet of cat videos, cooking hacks, and random strangers dancer. Now here's the twist. I've also spent years in education. I've seen students fight to stay awake in class while at the same time pulling all-nighters to watch Netflix or doom scroll on TikTok. It got me thinking. Why is social media so addictive while learning feels like a chore? It's not that learning is boring. Learning literally changes your life. Every new skill, every piece of knowledge is like upgrading your brain's operating system. Yet, if we're honest, when you compare doing math homework to watching reels of funny dogs, the dog wins every single time. And that's dangerous, because in today's world, what we know determines what opportunities we get. Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, but often it's the opposite. Those who have access to better schools, private tutors, or expensive prep courses get ahead, while others fall behind, and the gap keeps widening. But here's the good news. We live in a time when billions of people carry around the most powerful learning device ever created, our smartphones. And these same smartphones are also home to the most addictive apps humanity has ever engineered. So the question is, can we take the same psychology that makes social media irresistible and use it to make learning just as addictive? That's what I want to explore with you today. How to make learning so engaging, so fun, so sticky that opening a study app feels just as natural as opening Instagram. And I'm not talking about boring lectures turned into digital form. I'm talking about broccoli that tastes like dessert, learning that feels like scrolling, education that feels like a game you can't put down. Why is social media addictive, and what education can steal from it? So let's take a closer look at this beast called social media. Why is it so addictive? It's not magic, it's psychology. Apps like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they've mastered the art of hacking our brains. They know the buttons to press. First, there's infinite scroll, the genius idea that says, don't ever let the user reach the end. Before this, you'd read a magazine, and it had a last page. You'd watch a TV show, and the episode ended. Social media said, nope, no ending, just one more swipe. And our brains love it. It's like a slot machine. Every scroll might bring the funniest video you've ever seen, or maybe just an okay one, but your brain thinks maybe the next one will be gold. Second, notifications. Your phone lights up. Ding! Someone liked your post. Someone commented. You don't even need to open it, but your brain itches. What if it's important? Spoiler, it's never important, but the possibility is enough to pull you back. Third, streaks and rewards. Snapchat perfected this. You talk to a friend every day, and suddenly you're on a 200-day streak. Miss one day, it's gone. Brutal. But that little fire emoji works like magic, because nobody wants to be the one who broke a 200-day streak. And finally, personalization. Your feed doesn't look like mine. Every scroll is designed just for you. The algorithm learns what you like faster than your best friend does. That's why my feed is full of tech nerd videos and productivity hacks, and someone else's is full of dance challenges and memes. Now here's the million-dollar insight. These tricks work not because social media is fun, but because they align with how humans are wired. We like progress. We like rewards. We hate losing streaks. We crave novelty. So if we know this, why aren't we using the exact same psychology to make learning irresistible? Imagine this. Instead of forcing yourself to open your dusty math book, what if learning math gave you the same dopamine hit as unlocking a new level in a game? What if history lessons were delivered with the same energy as TikTok trends? What if notifications weren't spammy reminders, but playful nudges that made you smile and actually want to study? We already know the answer. Apps like Duolingo have proven it. Their green owl is practically a celebrity online because people make memes about how aggressive it is with reminders. Forgot your Spanish lesson? Expect the owl at your window tonight. But behind the memes is a deeper truth. People are logging in to study every single day, not because they suddenly fell in love with grammar rules, but because Duolingo hacked the system. They borrowed social media's tricks and gave them an educational twist. So, here's the key idea. If we want people to learn, we don't need to fight against human psychology. We need to ride it. Instead of guilt-tripping students to study, let's make studying feel like scrolling. Instead of comparing learning to broccoli, let's make broccoli taste like dessert. Because the real competition is not between you and your homework. The real competition is between your homework and Instagram. And unless we redesign learning to be just as engaging, homework will lose every single time. 2. Notifications. The ping, the little red dot, the buzz in your pocket. Social media bombards you with them, sometimes for no reason at all. Your friend posted a photo. Someone liked your comment. Now, education can use the same tool, but with a twist. Instead of spamming, use smart nudges. A reminder that says, hey, your streak is at risk. Or even better, we'll stop reminding you if you don't come back. Passive-aggressive. And weirdly, it works, because suddenly it's not just a reminder. It's the app showing personality, almost like a teacher who's disappointed but hopeful. People come back not because they need the app, but because they don't want to feel like they let it down. The broccoli versus dessert problem. Let's be honest with ourselves. Learning feels like broccoli. Now, broccoli is good for you. It's packed with vitamins, it'll probably help you live longer, but if you put broccoli on a plate right next to chocolate cake, who wins? Exactly, the cake. Every time. Education is the broccoli of life. Social media, that's the cake, the ice cream, the deep-fried Oreos with sprinkles on top. And here's the tragedy. We all know that education changes lives. It builds skills, it opens doors, it increases income, it helps people escape poverty. If knowledge is power, then the closest thing we have to a real-life superpower is education. But if we're honest, sitting through a lecture or flipping through a textbook doesn't exactly feel like a superpower. It feels more like a slow grind. Meanwhile, TikTok makes you laugh in 7 seconds. Instagram makes you feel seen when someone likes your post. YouTube Shorts give you exactly what your brain craves on demand. So education has a broccoli problem. It's good for you, but not tempting. The challenge is, how do we make the broccoli taste like dessert? Now, let's not misunderstand this. I'm not saying we turn every lesson into memes and dance videos. I'm not saying we sugarcoat everything and remove all difficulty. Learning is supposed to be challenging. That's how our brains grow. But it doesn't have to feel boring. Think about fitness apps. Exercise is tough. It's sweaty. It hurts. But apps like Strava or Fitbit make it addictive. Why? Because they give you progress bars, streaks, leaderboards, little confetti explosions when you hit your step goal. Suddenly, walking around the block feels like winning a video game. Now imagine applying the same principle to education. Instead of slogging through math problems, every correct answer could feel like unlocking a new level. Instead of forcing yourself to memorize history dates, what if you earned points for every fact you recalled, and you could actually see your progress bar filling up? This is the broccoli dessert equation. Broccoli is still broccoli. You don't change the nutrition, but you change the experience of eating it. You add seasoning, you roast it with garlic, maybe even drizzle a little cheese on top. Suddenly, broccoli doesn't feel like a punishment. In the same way, education can stay rigorous, challenging, and meaningful while also feeling rewarding, fun, and even addictive. Because here's the thing. people are not lazy. They're not allergic to hard work. Look at gamers. They spend hours grinding through difficult levels, failing, retrying, and finally mastering the game. That's literally practice and perseverance just in disguise. So the problem isn't that people can't focus. The problem is that education hasn't been designed to capture that focus. If we want to compete with social media, we don't need to make learning easier. We need to make it feel as rewarding as dessert, while keeping the nutrition of broccoli. The tricks that work. So how exactly do we turn broccoli into dessert? We steal the recipe, and the recipe comes straight from social media and mobile games. These companies have already done billions of dollars of research into one question: how do you keep people coming back? Let's look at a few of the most powerful tricks and how we can use them for education. 1. Streaks. This one is simple but devastatingly effective. A streak is just a counter. How many days in a row have you shown up? 10 days, 20, 100. Break the streak and it resets to 0. Painful. Nobody wants to start from scratch. Snapchat used this to keep teens hooked, but in education, streaks are gold, because suddenly the challenge isn't just do your lesson. The challenge is don't break the chain. And once the chain is long enough, the fear of losing it is stronger than the laziness of skipping a day. Duolingo has users with streaks of over 1,000 days. That's 3 years of daily learning. Imagine if homework worked like that. Imagine if missing 1 day of study felt like losing a 3-year record. You'd show up. 4. Personalization. Algorithms know us better than we know ourselves. They know what makes us laugh, what makes us click, what keeps us up at night. Now imagine an educational algorithm that knows exactly when you're about to give up and gives you just the right push. One that knows what subjects you struggle with and slips in practice problems at the perfect difficulty level. One that rewards you when you nail it and encourages you when you miss. That's the dream. Not one-size-fits-all education, but personalized learning that adapts to you the way your TikTok feed adapts to your scrolling. And 5. Community and competition. Why do we care how many likes we get? Because we want to be seen. Education can use this too. Leaderboards, study groups, friends cheering you on. It turns solitary studying into a social event. You're no longer just learning for yourself. You're part of a bigger challenge. And humans, we love to win. And here's the magic. None of these tricks change the core of learning. You still have to practice. You still have to repeat. You still have to struggle through the hard parts. But with streaks, notifications, rewards, personalization, and community, suddenly you want to do it. It feels less like eating plain broccoli and more like eating broccoli with butter, cheese, and maybe a side of fries. And before you know it, you're hooked on learning. The limits and why that's okay. Now, before you get too excited and start thinking, finally, learning can be just as addictive as TikTok, I need to drop some reality on you. The truth is, education will never be as addictive as social media. Why? Because social media is designed to give you instant hits, quick laughs, dopamine, endless novelty. 2 hours of scrolling feels like nothing. But learning takes effort. Learning sometimes frustrates you. Learning sometimes makes you fail before you succeed. You can't give someone algebra or physics in 7 seconds and expect it to feel like a cat video. You need repetition, you need struggle, you need to fail and then try again. That's the whole point. That's how growth happens. But here's the good news. You don't need to beat TikTok. You just need to get close enough. Even if learning is 80% as addictive as social media, that 20% difference is made up by internal motivation. Because unlike scrolling for 2 hours and feeling empty afterward, every minute spent learning builds your brain. Every skill you gain opens doors. Every fact you remember is a tool you can use in life. So yeah, you might not spend 6 hours straight studying, but if you can get people to log in every day, even for 15 or 20 minutes, the impact is enormous. That's thousands of repetitions over a year. That's mastery. That's life-changing. So the big takeaway, let me leave you with this. Learning doesn't have to be boring. Education doesn't have to feel like punishment. We can make it addictive. We can make it fun. We can make it something people look forward to. The secret is simple. Use the same techniques that social media already uses: streaks, notifications, rewards, personalization, and community. But flip the script. Make them work for education instead of mindless scrolling. Think of it like this. Broccoli can taste like dessert. Learning can feel like a game. And if we do it right, we can change the world, one study session at a time. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you pick up your phone, don't just scroll. Open an app that teaches you something new. Try to learn just for 15 minutes and see how far you can go. Because in a world full of distractions, the real superpower isn't just scrolling, it's learning. And once we make learning addictive, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Thank you.